So I wanted to speak to you today about your negative thoughts. Many of my clients have thoughts they simply do not want. Somehow the thought that they're having breaks some sort of internal belief they have or some sort of moral code, and they feel guilty. But it's important to remember that thoughts are just thoughts. Thoughts are not your reality. If you worry too much about the kind of thoughts that you're having, you'll find that you will spend a lot of your time worrying, and worry just leads to more worry. Thoughts just pop into your mind. They are unconscious. You don't want them. But then they pop in and you try and fight these thoughts. But the more you try and fight the thoughts, the more they keep coming back and appearing and then reappearing. And sometimes these thoughts will get bigger and bigger and bigger as you try to ignore them. So remember, thoughts are just thoughts. Allow the thought to appear and then let it just float away. The more you try and fight and resist the thoughts that you're having, the more they're just going to keep coming back. The minute you allow the thought to come, then pass, the less your mind will focus on these thoughts. You're paying some of your thoughts far too much attention. You decide if your thoughts are just thoughts. So for example, let's say you are a person who is very anxious and very depressed, and you're having these very negative thoughts about stealing something from a shop, which you do not do. Let's just say, for example, that you're thinking about stealing a phone from a store. Well, this is only a thought. The thought is not your reality until you actually take some sort of action. Then it becomes reality. So for example, this negative thought, you can try and fight it in your mind, and you can allow it to settle, and you can allow it to stay like a huge big black cloud, and then it becomes more and more graphic, and it becomes more and more detailed. So in our example of the phone, you then think of where you will steal it from and who you will steal it from and how. You're planting those seeds and dwelling on it. So obviously this is just a very, very simple example of stealing a phone, but sometimes these thoughts could be unwanted sexual thoughts, for example, or they could be unwanted thoughts about harming yourself, or unwanted thoughts of harming other people. They then become possibly OCD thoughts. So it's important to allow the thought to appear without judgment, okay, and then let it drift away. You will notice that you will think of this thought less and less and less, the less attention you pay to it. So in my example, you would think less of stealing that phone. So I hope this example has helped you. I would like you to try to observe your thoughts without any judgment and then let them float away. And remember, this does take practice. Thoughts are only thoughts until you actually act upon them.